Hi Women's Health, I am Whole30 co-founder and CEO Melissa Urban, and today for the first time ever, anywhere, I'm giving you a peek inside my fridge. All right, so here we go. You know, you're not the first Women's Health to ask me to do a fridge tour, and I haven't done one before because my fridge doesn't look like a typical super packed stocked fridge that you might see on one of these things. I like grocery shopping and I like meal prepping, and I do it every 2 to 3 days. And because it's just me and half a human living here, I don't want to get a whole bunch of stuff that is probably going to go bad. What you'll find in here are some prepped meals to get me through the next couple days, some whole fresh ingredients that I can quickly throw together if I need to, and then your basics. So let's take a peek. So up top, you've got some leftovers. I've got some roasted sweet potato and some wild rice here in a storage container. I've got some beverages. So I have some homemade kombucha that I always keep cold, some nut pods, which is a Whole30 approved non-dairy coffee creamer. I like this in my morning decaf or my coffee alternative. I always have a bone broth in the fridge. This one is frozen and I'm defrosting it. I love a mug of warm bone broth in the afternoon when I might want coffee or tea, but I definitely don't want any caffeine. I also have some maple syrup, some jelly, just like kid-friendly stuff that my son likes. Moving over here, I have some eggs. You know, if you've done a Whole30, that eggs are your best friend. We actually don't eat a ton of eggs in the house, but I always keep a dozen on hand, and I always keep 5 or 6 hard-boiled for that emergency protein. And then I've got some Waterloo and some LaCroix chilling in the fridge. Heading down to the second shelf, this is where you're gonna find my prepped food for the day. I like this idea of cooking once and eating like 2 or 3 times. And I have discovered a method that will let you really mix it up in terms of your flavor profiles so you're not too bored, but doesn't require a ton of extra meal prep. So I always have a pound of ground meat cooked. Maybe it's ground turkey or ground lamb or bison or beef, and I just keep that plain because I throw that together with fresh ingredients to make a meal during the day. I always have a cup of white rice, so that's not Whole30 compatible, but rice does so well for me because I'm so active, and I always have rice in my fridge for quick and easy carbs. Down here, I've got my patented ground meat with stuff. And the way that I describe this meal is basically a pound of ground meat. So this happens to be ground turkey. I've cut up some peppers, yellow, orange, and green peppers. I've got some grape tomatoes. I have some sliced mushrooms, and I have some spinach. And I cook it all up and mix it up together, and I don't season it. It's just got salt and pepper in it. So when I get ready to have a meal for the day, and this is kind of what I eat for breakfast every morning, I'll take it out, I'll serve it with some rice or maybe some zucchini noodles or cauliflower rice, basically any kind of veggie in my fridge, and then I'll use one of my many dressings and sauces to add flavor and pizzazz. So it's a way for me to just cook once. The whole thing maybe takes me 25 minutes to pull together, but I can eat this over the course of 4 meals and have it taste totally different every single time. All right, moving on down, I have some fresh fruit. I always keep some berries and some fruit in the fridge for my kiddo and I. And then I love these Siete grain-free tortillas. I use these for lunch with some deli meat and some veggies, and maybe another dressing or a sauce like a Whole30 ranch, perhaps. All right, moving down to this little corner of my fridge. We're just gonna call this corner Jeff's Corner because it is full of Jeff's Garden tamed jalapenos. I am so into these. I put them on everything. They are mild jalapenos. They're not quite pickled, but they're definitely not as punchy as a raw jalapeno would be. They add delicious crunch, delicious flavor. So I've got these in my fridge. I've got Jeff's mild banana pepper rings. These are just other really easy and fast ways to add a little bit of kick and a little bit of flavor to an already prepped meal. So Jeff's Garden in that corner. And then I've got some other produce and veggies in here. So I've got some cauliflower, I've got some spinach. I always keep some kind of greens on hand, whether it's spinach, shredded kale, baby arugula, maybe some romaine. I do keep a whole bunch of meat products in my drawer. So I've got, always have 2 or 3 chicken sausage. These are Belinsky Whole30 compatible chicken sausage for quick and easy protein. And then I always have some deli meat on hand. So this is True Story and Applegate deli meat. They just really quick ways to throw meals together, especially for lunches. And I send my son to school with deli meat pretty often. Now let's move on to the star of my refrigerator show, which are the doors. This is where the Whole30 magic happens. On the Whole30, dressings and sauces are life. Even if you're just eating a diet mostly full of real whole nutrient-dense food, dressings and sauces are such an easy, effortless way to add flavor and variety to simple ingredients. So let's start up here. I have my Yellowbird shelf. This is all of my Yellowbird hot sauces. My New Primal shelf with all of the dressings and sauces from our friends at the New Primal. This is our Primal Kitchen shelf with even everything down to like unsweetened ketchup. I have this awesome butter chicken sauce. So that's kind of a random over here. And then on this side, these are all of our Whole30 line of salad dressings. They're brand new. And of course I have one of every single one of them open. I have the staple, which is the Primal Kitchen mayo here, never without a jar. I just got some more hot sauces and different sauces, coconut aminos. All your kind of standards are in the door, including, you know, some old standbys like yellow mustard. And then up here, I've got some pasture-raised butter and the probiotics I take every day. Thank you for joining me today on my first ever fridge tour. That was actually really fun, and now I have a really clean refrigerator. You're gonna wanna subscribe to the Women's Health channel and get all of their amazing content. And if you wanna learn more about Whole30 or me, you can visit us at whole30.com or at Whole30 on Instagram.